Hey, MHayashi, like and subscribe. Don't forget to, if you like mono red content, whether it's burn or control, or probably not control anytime soon, to be honest, because let me tell you, mono red burn has been so much better to me than trying to be control with mono red. And it's just kind of not like it was kind of cool that we could sort of play control for a while because the threats sort of lined up with the answers. But good old burn. No matter how big the threats get, if we just lob enough lightning and fire at their face, they could have a 20/20 for all we care, as long as they don't get to attack with it first. Yeah, and yeah. So not sure the order this is going to get published, since obviously I kind of prioritize 5-0s for them. I kind of like doing that. And I guess spoiler alert, yeah, I'm recording the deck tech first. I mean after the league, but I'm not going to spoil anything. Just mono red. It definitely, definitely is. Burn is definitely better than control. That certainly in this meta right now. Certainly given all these psychic frogs and other big stuff. Just getting there with burn. Like sure sometimes we have to get lucky, but burn is the type of deck that is much more likely to get lucky and much more rewarding if you get lucky. Because if you get lucky with like mono red control, you just kind of mana screw them for a few turns before they possibly get out of it. But in mono red burn, you get lucky, you just win, and it feels like you're more likely to get lucky too. Meaning it's a little bit less about luck, but there's always luck. But it feels like luck is a bit more in your favor. In any case, so not sure exactly how to compare with previous leagues, but let's just say I was splashing white in the sideboard, but at the end of the day, I basically never brought the white cards in. I think I only really brought Wear Tear in like once, and I think I only ever played Wear, not Tear. So if we're only going to play Wear, might as well get 3 damage to the face while we're at it, right? Yeah. Also, we are not playing Obosh anymore. I did try Obosh Burn, and it seems like definitely Obosh Burn is possible now that we have Boltwave. We've got so many 1-drops, and I think Reinforced Ronin is definitely a slept upon excellent card, just because it can, if it gets in there like even twice, that it deals 4 damage, and then you can cycle it when it stops being able to get in there. Very, very deceptively good card. It's just very different from these other threats, but at the end of the day, it hits decently hard, and it's just never a dead card because of cycling. So I mean, I know it technically channel. This is cycling. Like channel 2, if there's a distinction between channel 2 and cycling, other than which effects, like obviously there's more cards that give you benefits from cycling, but this is essentially cycling, just not called cycling. But yeah, basically we're forsaking Obosh just so we can play Searing Blaze. And long story short, I've always known in my heart of hearts that one of the cards that makes mono red burn an absolute monster in modern is Searing Blaze. I've always known it. I wanted to resist it with Obosh. There's all these and also one of the decks we couldn't beat before with Obosh burn is basically Celestia energy. It's very similar to Boros energy, just they have what's that card called again? Ranger, Captain of Eos, and then this double green, double white card that double Ranger Eos is basically for two 1-drops. Essentially, original Ranger of Eos, but with a 4/4 trample body instead of a 3/2. Bottom line, when they start dropping their Ocelot Prides, their Soul Wardens, or Soul whatever they're called, that energy that's that energy warden, the one that's like a Soul Sister, but it gets energy and life when a creature comes into play. Anyway, yeah, I mean, just being able to Searing Blaze that nonsense while also getting damage out of it seems like it would help that matchup a lot, because just with regular old Obosh burn, it just didn't feel like we were favored at all. And even though Celestia energy is not necessarily super common, I'll tell you what is super common: frickin' Boros energy. Boros energy is, I mean, I have to say, Modern is surprisingly diverse, and I think I've only played against a burn deck once. So I kind of assumed burn wasn't playable, but my testing results are kind of suggesting otherwise. I don't know why nobody's playing burn, but it seems like burn is better than maybe people are giving credit for. That being said, I have to imagine one reason maybe people are not playing burn is that I think Boros energy is a problem because of all those Ocelot Prides, all of those Soul Attendant guys that gain life and gain energy counters, and also hit like a truck once they get enough energy. Oh yeah, and Philage, Titan of whatever, just for the shits and giggles. Yeah, so I just have to imagine having Searing Blaze will help. No, but this alone, though, I'm not necessarily so sure is going to make the matchup favorable, or at least if the matchup is even-ish, maybe that will go a long way to helping get Burn back on the map. And that's where the other card comes in. So instead of playing Light Up the Stage, we're just going to play good old Firebolt. Or I guess rather I should say this was Seal of Fire was in this slot. Searing Blaze, I guess, was Light Up the Stage. I don't know. It depends on how you think about it. But long story short, yeah, we're just going to play Firebolt. And so my thinking behind this is essentially, I mean, obviously if Chain Lightning ever gets replanted, I'm pretty sure this becomes Chain Lightning in a heartbeat. We could definitely use the extra damage. But it's worth noting that we only really have Lightning Bolt as true turn 1 removal. That's kind of a problem against like Ragavan, and there's just other stuff like that Soul Warden guy, and Ocelot Pride, and there's just a lot of and it's possible against Yogg. We want to hit Delighted Halfling. There's a lot of like creatures on the turn 1 that I think we kind of are in the business of wanting to zap. And it's just, what's cool about Firebolt is if we get to zap it, we still get an extra 5 damage if the game goes long. And you might think that this doesn't happen, but as we saw with Obosh, we were able to actually cast Obosh a few times. Now it is worth noting that didn't end up doing anything. They almost always have a removal spell for Obosh by the time that gets that long. But Firebolt, I think a lot of times actually an extra 2 damage to the face is going to be more relevant than Obosh actually. So there is that. And although I still probably would play Chain Lightning over this, but since we don't really have any true 3 damage burn spell that can be played on turn 1 other than Lightning Bolt, certainly none that deals 3 damage, I think Firebolt, being potentially up to 4 damage, being able to be played up front and then flash back, I do think Firebolt is our best, is pretty much our best bet to shore up that little weakness in this, and together that might help deal with the Soul Attendants and whatnot. So I got the smash to Smithereens because, again, when I was playing Wear Tear, I pretty much only brought in Wear Tear for the wear part, and yeah, dealing 3 damage seems pretty awesome. Being able to hit Agatha's Soul Cauldron, for example, and get 3 damage. This is like, honestly, we probably would just not bring in Artifact Hates in certain matchups, but if we're going to get 3 damage out of it, suddenly it's just a lot more appealing. Eidolon, I thought about main decking this, but I just feel like, I mean, I suppose an argument could be made that Eidolon is better than Reinforced Ronin. I'm just not so sure about that, because Ronin is just, it's also just such a good curve, card that fits in the curve, you know what I mean? Like, it is very possible that Eidolon is better than Reinforced Ronin, but I just, I know, as weird as it is to say, I'm just not there yet. I'm just not there yet. There are matchups like Eldrazi where Eidolon is kind of going to be more of a liability. They can Kozilek's command for X equals 2 pretty easily. They can even do that off of a Soul Land plus an Eldrazi Temple, or just 2 Eldrazi Temples, and then bam, they deal with Eidolon, get either 2 Scion tokens or Scry 2. They don't even take any damage from it because it counts as 4, which is more than 3. They could also just play like Withering Chrysalis if they're on the red-green version, or Thought-Knot. There's just a lot of ways that my Eidolon ends up being more of a liability to me in certain matchups. Now, I still I would have to imagine majority of matchups Eidolon is probably better. So that's one of the main things I guess I'm gonna be looking at is do I want to play Eidolon instead of Reinforced Ronin, but I'm just not so sure. Ronin just being able to get in there for only 1 mana, just very underrated. It's entirely possible that we want Eidolon instead of Searing Blaze of all things, or instead of we might actually be at the point where we cut like Skewer the Critics or something. I know, such a weird world to live in, right? It's possible. I don't want to hit any of the 1 mana burn spells. And nice thing about Riftbolt is that can be suspended on turn 1 a lot easier. So anyway, yeah, let's I guess see how it goes. Oh yeah, and of course Screaming Nemesis. It's kind of between this and Roiling Vortex, but what I like about Screaming Nemesis is twofold. It's way better in aggressive mirrors because it's pretty much unblockable. Blocking this is a kind of the worst case scenario against a fellow aggressive deck, unless they can trade with it, but then it still ends up damage. Like if the 2 cards trade and they still take damage, it's sort of like a Searing Blaze that incidentally also makes them not able to gain life for the rest of the game. Although we don't have access to Seal of Fire, so we can play this on turn 3 and then Seal of Fire it to immediately prevent life gain. If we just wait 1 more turn, this one situation where Firebolt comes in handy, and we've got Kozilek's return for possibly dealing with all those Ocelot Prides and Soult Wardens or whatever. Also, incidentally deals with pro-red creatures, which is probably why this is always going to be the go-to sweeper, because I mean I don't really see any pro-red creatures anymore, but if we're in the business to play some kind of sweeper, might as well play one that plugs a hole that we otherwise would have a problem with. And I still think they play if they play what's the card called again? If they play Core Firewalker, I haven't seen that in ages, but if they do play Core Firewalker, it's probably just GG. That being said, Screaming Nemesis does at least give us the possibility to race Core Firewalker. But anyway, let's see how this goes. And actually, I guess we know how the end result is, but let's see how we get there. Okay. All right, take 2, Modern Burn. Let's go. Let's go, everybody, everywhere. Let's go. And I'm holding Bloodstained More because Searing Blaze. I'm probably getting mana screwed. Mana flooded, I mean. Okay. Alrighty. Looks like Yogg. Treasure's Insight. Halfling Ballista. Let's see which one to get. Okay, Halfling. Man, this incidental life gain, I hate it. Alright, there's the experimental Firebolt. Malevolent Rumble. They got Bowmasters. Okay. Probably Blaze the halfling. And this seems like a reasonable thing to do. And living life on the wild side. Soul Cauldron, uh-oh. So we know they got Bowmasters. Okay. Okay. Alright, let's see if they can kill me this turn. Unfortunately, I don't have lethal next turn. I don't even have Threshold. Actually, I might though, because I'll have 6 once the Riftbolt comes off. And then if I draw another burn spell, it could be lethal. Uh-oh. But they have to pay life though, that's gotta be scary. If they can get a I think they need a lone wolf in order to okay, burn spell or bust. Hey, I'll take it. Whew, this one did not look like I was necessarily gonna pull this off, but we'll take it. Okay. Let's see, Eidolon. Is Eidolon good in this matchup? Is Smash to Smithereens good? I'm a little conflicted. The problem is what if they don't get Soul Cauldron? Then I get stuck with this. Do they play other artifacts? I don't think so. I think I kind of have to play this though, just because the upside is just so bonkers. I do like Firebolt because it deals with their early stuff, and I don't have to feel too cheesy. There's no way we would have won that without Reinforced Ronin doing work. It doesn't feel right to take out Lave Spike. Well, Lave Spike is mostly just strictly superior to Boltwave because it can hit Grist. I don't think most of the time I'm going to want to hit Grist. I don't think they're going to bring in Leyline of Sanctity. Famous last words. Kind of want Screaming Nemesis. Let's bring Boltwave back, and let's bring in the Nemesis. Okay, hand isn't perfect, but it looks okay. I think Firebolt, deceptively strong card. If there's early creatures, we got a zap. Almost kind of want Lava Dart, but I think, yeah, Firebolt's better at hitting a halfling. And this was a job Firebolt was made for. Part of me wants to hold this up for Searing Blaze, but I think more important is we don't take unnecessary damage. Could run into the old land drop issue with Searing Blaze. Wow. Living life on the edge. Let's see. Badgermole. It's gotta be Badgermole. Delighted Orcish or Badgermole. If we rip land, do we just scream the Nemesis, or do we... I'm not so worried about Bowmasters, so I think... Let's see. We know we want to do that. Do we Firebolt as well? I hope I don't regret this, but it's just if I don't draw land, we need to be able to Firebolt the Badgermole. that's a good target for Smash the Smithereens. I think I have to do this. And I technically have lethal as long as I rip land. I guess not anymore. This might be lethal. So I'll take... Alright, well, one thing is for certain. We definitely like Smash the Smithereens, but we got kind of mana screwed there. But otherwise, I think that was kind of going exactly to plan. I think I like Nemesis too. I think I have to mull. Okay, yeah, much better. Well, we still could get stuck. Card on the bottom. Boltwave. Minimizing damage can be important, as we saw. Fatal Push. Basic Swamp. Oh. Okay, that's weird. Why didn't they get basic? Why didn't they wait for me to attack? The world may never know. Yeah, you know, say what you want, but I am gonna try to. I'm gonna try to save my land drop for her Searing Blaze. Pendremol. Verdant, Arbor, got Grist. I think we do this since we have a guaranteed other land drop next turn. I think I got Christus. Gristus. Okay, I can't say I disagree with that. Probably Young Wolf has got to be right. Or maybe they get their land drop. Swamp. Young Wolf. Forest. Young Wolf. I think this is lethal. We have slightly worse blocks if we do this. After. Alright, let's go. I think I will keep. Okay. Come on, please, I want a land drop so bad. Let's grab that land drop. Raggy taggy. Dang it. Well, good to know about the Teferi, because now we can't suspend the Rift Bolts. Wow, that's taken a ton of damage. Ooh, failure. The pup. Flage would be definitely the most problematic because they would essentially gain 6 life. Okay, oh, I was worried about Flage. Definitely a huge element of luck. Let's do this. They might have Force of Negation, so it's not completely inconsequential which one we cast. Wow, this didn't have anything. Didn't have Force of Negation, didn't have any removal. That's what happens sometimes, I guess. Okay. That's another reason to play Firebolt is we don't want to lose to Ragavan. Reinforced Ronin. Kind of feel like this is a matchup for Eidolon, maybe Screaming Nemesis too. I'll tell you what it's not. It's definitely not a matchup for Riftwald. At a minimum, we want Screaming Nemesis. Of course, they could just like, I don't know. I'm kind of wondering, do we want Screaming Nemesis or do we want oh, we don't have the, yeah, so I guess it has to be Screaming Nemesis. Okay. Kind of what I'd want too. This matchup seems a little iffy for Searing Blaze. Well, I do want to hit Ragavan. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Riftbolt and Skewer are definitely the most cuttable. Let's see how this does. Okay, let's see if Goblin Guide ends up having to be on blocking duty if they play turn 1 Ragavan, because that's scary, not gonna lie. Oh, I like that. Roll to 5. You just know that they're going to play Galvanic Discharge. Or not. I think to play around the pup, I'm going to hold up the Bloodstain. Because just playing Swiftspear is like a recipe for the pup to, what does this even counter? This is an activated ability, not a triggered ability. And if they don't play the pup, I can just Searing Blaze end a turn because of Bloodstained More. Okay. I think let's do this now to play around some type of shenanigans. Might have been better to wait though. I don't know. Flage, okay. But this is kind of what Screaming Nemesis is for here. Screaming Nemesis, do your thing. Bam. Of course, they can remove this with like Prismatic Ending or something, in which case I won't get the benefit, but I have to imagine burn spells are one of the primary methods they have. Okay. Okay, do I play this? It's going to get flaged. But then get to be closer to Threshold. And at Threshold, I can hit my own Screaming Nemesis with my Barbarian Ring. 5 cards. It's possible I should have just offered up the Swiftspear as like a sacrificial offering to the Shaman token. I guess I can still sort of hear if I want. But there's just more upside to waiting, I think. Because sure, Flage will bring them up to 7. It effectively tanks more damage if they go to this rather than to me, and I have to imagine they're going to hit the Swiftspear. Okay. Ah, okay. That's what Consign to Memory does. Okay. If I attack with both. I think actually I got this, because if I play this, attack with both, they have to block the Swiftspear. They're not going to block the Nemesis. Then they take 4. Yeah. And then I've got double 6 cards, so Threshold with this. Bam. I love it. Okay. It is kind of an interesting question, and I will keep this, but Screaming Nemesis or Roiling Vortex. Screaming Nemesis is definitely more aggressive. It has bigger damage output, and it's better against the mirror. I have to imagine it's Screaming Nemesis, but it's not necessarily completely a given. The bauble. Okay. Interesting. So we're having the face-off. I wonder if this is the vaunted burn mirror. I'm kind of thinking maybe we hit this, although they're very close to lethal. Let's do this. Let's do this. If we weren't so close to lethal, basically just one more burn spell, and we have lethal. Okay, Quarry Steel. Good thing I didn't try to play the game of hitting the creature. I think this is GG, because they needed to hold back a blocker. Turns out okay, I like it. The good old turn 3 win with burn. It's a little surprising. So how was that? That was really a turn 3 win? Because let's see, Goblin Guide. Goblin Guide has a total of 6 damage from, and then this is 12. Yeah, I guess turn three wins are not necessarily so out of the question. Okay. The Mirror. I have to imagine this is an Eidolon matchup. We were lucky that we went first. Wait a minute, did we? No, we went second. But like, okay, what do we take out for Eidolon? I do like Firebolt because even though it worked out that game, I kind of feel like Firebolting their turn 1 Swiftspear or whatever it is not bad. I definitely want Smash the Smithereens for their Corey Steel Cutter. Definitely, I think Riftbolt is. Skewer, I think Eidolon as well. Can we fit Screaming Nemesis in here too? I don't want to get too you know, zesty. You know, I think if they have to use damage though to deal with Nemesis, I don't want to get too zesty. This is pretty good, pretty clean. Yeah. It's close though, because Nemesis does seem good. It's always just what do you cut, you know. It's very possible the cut should have been Ronin actually. But it's a little clunky though. Like imagining this hand with Nemesis. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing, if you know what I mean. I kind of want to rip a Firebolt. Alright, well, not ideal, but we'll take it. This card is a little dyssynergous with Eidolon. I have to imagine Eidolon, though, does work here. Realistically, they probably just... Yeah. I think I do this, taking care of that. Eidolon, go. It could just be dead, but I have to imagine this puts them in an awkward spot if they do not have an answer Eidolon. If they do have an answer Eidolon, at least this absorbs X amount of damage. I might need to block with Eidolon, because we could get Idol locked ourselves. All it takes is like... Okay. Well, I was planning to block anyway. Yeah. Okay, cool. I kind of like burn better than prowess in this meta. Hey, with hands like this, I can't complain. Yeah, let's go. Fatal push. Hopefully there's at least one fetch shock in their future. Well. Only problem is that things could get very awkward very quickly with these Skewer the Critics, but I don't think I can pass up guaranteed 2 damage here. Basic Swamp. Ooh, no Basic Swamp. Ooh, Persist. Powerful card, but they need to put something in their graveyard, which they could with... Okay, good, not yet. Bones, Bony Boy. Alright, I took my Swiftspear. I really want a land drop. That would be so cool. I'll take it, though. Have to imagine they block. I can't pass this up, though. That's good. I definitely want them to play another creature for my Searing Blaze. Goblin Guide. Land would be pretty sweet. I guess in theory this gets the job done too. I say in theory because of course they could force a negation me. Okay, good. So, oh, I just realized I have no Grave Hate. Huh, what happened here? Oh. Maybe I don't need Grave Hate, but I wasn't actually kind of intending. I wasn't kind of intending to go without Grave Hate. Hmm. I think we just accept if our opponent our opponent plays pro-red creatures, they got us. But I have to imagine that that Kozilek's Return is the most cuttable. We need Nemesis for anti-life gain. And what would we play? Relic Progenitus? Probably. Soul-Guide Lantern could be better though, but Relic though, like drawing an extra card, very important in this specific type of deck. Okay, we're gonna play Eidolon. We would probably cut Skewer if we had a Relic like we should. But we don't, so we're just going to have to run it back as such. And this hand is absolutely atrocious. Oh, this hand is also not great, but it has a Eidolon, so maybe it's got a chance. It's possible we just say screw it to Graveyard Hate. Because like they can always just force it anyway. Well, there goes the whole reason we kept this hand. Okay, let's try to keep it getting in there while the getting's good. It's going to be nothing sort of uber lucky if we actually pull this off. Flashback Faithless Looting. Oh, Psychic Frog. Alright, well this guy did his job. I think we're going to start suspending Revolts. Quantum Riddler. Okay, I guess that works too. Ooh. Very, very potent. I discard that. Am I dead? Probably. This card's a 4/4. Yeah, and Frog is just unkillable. Okay. Bony Boy seems good, but I just like the proactiveness of Eidolon better. I think I'm leaning towards Soul Guide Lantern over Relic. Just we can still crack it in a pinch, but just okay, we'll keep. But just being able to like Dredge still is a deck, I think, lurking in the shadows somewhere in the recesses of Modern. So being able to and also like also on the draw, they could go first turn Faithless Looting, second turn Persist. So yeah. No reason not to just go ahead and fetch if they're not on. If we're not playing. Okay, I don't like to see that Archon. No, not Persist. Who knows, we might have not had a Lantern anyway if we had brought it in. It's possible that it's better to just focus on the best possible hands that win as quickly as possible for us. Force them to have it. Because if we multi like Lantern, we can't really multi Lantern. It doesn't do enough. They could just because they could just rebuild. Like they just play Faithless Looting again and then Persist again. That being said, Lantern certainly would help, but we can't multi it. So, oh, okay. This means that either we have a win if. Ooh, okay. All right, let's go. All right, 4-0, close to. Could we get the trophy? That would be something. We shall keep. Okay. Alright, swamp into Fatal Push. Okay, we knew we'd run into oh, it did look like they mulliganed to 5 though. Okay, no riddles yet. Spectacle. Alright, well if they ephemerate, I get a Searing Blaze target. So it's kind of win-win. We kind of both win from this. Probably really want to counterspell. Bogart Trawler. Well, that's going to mess with my threshold. Alright, well, technically, I can't attack this turn anyway, so I guess I might as well just do this. Hope they don't have Spell Pierce or Force and Negation. Oh, man, would take it. Oh man, are we going to get the trophy? Oof. That would be something. Okay, let's see here. I don't think this is a match where Searing Blaze is at its best, but got good old-fashioned Eidolon, always waiting in the wings, ready to have some fun. And Skewer. I think Skewer is always a little iffy, so we could take that out for Screaming Nemesis. I'm not so sure I like that though, because the longer the game goes, they've got what do you call it, Solitude and whatnot. Just stick to Eidolon. Okay. Speak of Eidolon, there's Eidolon. It is a little bit discouraging though that Quantum Riddler gets around Eidolon, but if they want to ephemerate it, they'll have to at least take 2 damage from the ephemerate. There's an interesting question next turn. Do we Goblin Guide Swiftspear or do we Eidolon? Huh. Didn't know they'd have a fairy. Take a ton of damage off of Rowan Eidolon. But I think we have to, because it's just the board's empty. They have to take some damage to play into this. We could end up taking more damage from our own though, but it is what it is. Their Witch Enchanter can hit my Eidolon. Yeah, or Orcish Bowmaster, I guess that works too. But now their Witch Enchanter, though, has a little bit less good of a target. It's possible they should have hit the Goblin Guide and then used the Witch Enchanter to get rid of the Eidolon. It's possible. Okay. As paradoxical as it may seem, I think I Firebolt this and then attack. I think that was worth it. Okay. The Tude. The Pup. We'll trade off with both. Okay, interesting. Teferi and Overlord are in their hands. Well, if they just take, they're dead. Why not block the 2/2s? Because I think they really want this Overlord, but it's not in the cards. Well, I guess it is in the cards if they, could go down to 2, block this with this, or they could go down to 1, Overlord. They're an interesting spot, for sure. But going down to 3 has got to be scary, too, with all these Boltwaves and all of this nonsense. Or at 3 mana, so we can hard cast a Riftbolt or Skewer. Could just keep drawing lands for the rest of the game, but definitely this looks possible to get the trophy. Hopefully it's still recording, because I don't see the recording icon anymore. But it looks like it's still recording. I would have expected them to keep the Philia. Oh, because I know what they're going to do. They're going to Solitude, exile their Solitude, attack with it. But they only get that for 1 turn. You know, I can dig them blocking the Ronin because that cycles. So what they're going to do is they're going to pitch Teferi. Yep. Probably hit Goblin Guide. Yep. Adapt exiling their Solitude. Go back up to 4. I can dig this. And they're swinging with a 4/4. Why would they not attack? Oh, I know why. Do we want to advertise that we got nothing? Hopefully I don't get another Solitude. Okay, Flicker Wisp. Can't adapt this turn though. I'm gonna cycle this. Enough that Thalia. Masters, right? Okay. They might have us because I can block this, take 7 plus Bowmasters. Dang it, man. Okay, is this... Okay. And... What happens if they exile Ronin? Pretty sure it just gets exiled. It doesn't go back to... Okay. Oh, Searing Blaze can be good against the pup. Eidolon, 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 Eidolon. How good is Eidolon? How good is Eidolon? I don't think we lost that match because of Eidolon. I think it's far more likely that Searing Blaze becomes a problem, and I do like this. Okay. And do we suspend Riftbolt? I don't think so. Let's Try to maximize our damage. And they've had first turn Fatal Push and Marsh Flats into Swamp every single game. If they win, just something to keep in mind. Okay. It's getting while the getting's good. Why can't I suspend this? I feel like this is a glitch. I feel like I should be able to suspend it, but okay, whatever. I think I'm just going to cycle this. Okay, note to self, suspend first. Okay. Frack, I can't, but I think I can bolt their upkeep. Yes! Oh, we got the trophy! Oh, man!